Hello, it's Mike here again. I'm doing a video for Brett Hicks because he wanted to know the difference between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One controllers. But before I do that, I just thought I'd quickly cover the hardware. The difference between the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is I can't get my words out. Very small. The PlayStation 4 has a slightly faster graphics card, and I'll put it into perspective. The difference is so small. The only difference is which one is the lead system. So whichever system they program the game on first will be the most stable. So hardware out of the way, there's next to no difference at all. I mean, to put things into perspective, I've got a PC upstairs, and I overclocked it from 2.8 gigahertz to 3.8 gigahertz, which sounds like a lot, 1 gigahertz difference. But in actual test, it gave me a 10% performance increase. And to put things into perspective, imagine you had a game running at 60 frames. It's running 6 frames faster. Whoopie fucking do. And by overclocking it, the CPU went from 30 centigrade to 70. And to put things into perspective, imagine if today was 10 degrees centigrade, and then it suddenly went up to 50. You know, the computer's like, what the fuck? Fans, anyway. The point being, the difference is next to nothing. So he wanted to see a comparison between the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 controller. So what I thought I'd also do is a quick comparison. So for instance, here is a PlayStation 3 controller DualShock, and here is a PlayStation 4 one. And you'll notice that it's slightly bigger. Now, that may not seem particularly important to most people, but look at the size of my hand. When I use the D-pad, let me move back so you can see, the D-pad, my thumb is always arced like this. And that's fine for playing for 10, 20 minutes. But after about an hour or two, I get some piercing pain shooting up my thumb. So just having a little bit extra, distance makes a great deal of difference to me compared to that. Now, another comparison I think that's very important, which Brett has mentioned, but I think it's worth mentioning again. If you look at the triggers, whereas this one here, it's all right. But here, there's a slight curve, so you can actually feel it. Your fingers are not slipping. Now, another feature I've noticed that they have on here, I don't know if you can see that, it has a microphone on there, which is kind of weird because, you're playing a game and then suddenly the Joypad starts speaking, similar to the Wii U. So I think they stole that idea. Now, let's see if I can turn this piece of crap on. Yeah. One feature they have is this weird glowing thing. And what it does, it'll turn off eventually. When you've got more than one joypad, each one has a different colour. So I think it's, I don't know, red, blue, white. It's got a weird orangey sort of colour when you're charging it. And you can charge it on your PC, by the way. So, if you've got more than one. I put this grip stick thing on, and also these things here, because when I looked online, a lot of people were complaining about the original pad things. So if you look here, these are rubber, and apparently some people, they've had the rubber falling off after about 2-3 months, which personally I think is rather poor. I mean, I'm sorry, but this cost, I think, £45. So this controller is £45. That's equivalent to about $70. I expect this to last longer than 3 months, but apparently the rubber on it is a bit crap. So on my one, and as you can see, it's themed. So this one's red. I've got another one By the way, I bought a white PlayStation 4. But anyway, this one's red. I've got another one where it's blue. And, yeah, you got this little rubbery stuff on the side. So it kind of feels comfortable to me. Now, let's have a look at the Xbox One controller. And then compare it to the Xbox 360. The difference is so small. This one here is the Xbox One. This one is the Xbox 360. I mean, they're pretty much the same. If we turn them on the side, you can see, let me turn this one on the side as well. The triggers on the Xbox One is slightly more pronounced, and bigger. But apart from that, they're pretty much the same. Now, I like the fact that it still uses batteries. And you're thinking, man, this is like the 21st century. Why the hell have they got batteries? I'll tell you why. You're playing a game and the batteries run out. And you've only got one. I've got two controllers. And it actually came with, where is it? Bear with me. It came with this, which is a tablet with Windows. And for the life of me, I have no... Just turn it on. But anyway, for the life of me, I have no idea what it's for. I mean, we complain about the Wii U, but fucking hell. How am I supposed to use this and a controller at the same time? What we're going to do? Use my knob? You know, it doesn't matter if you've got a 12-inch cock. You don't have that type of control where you can go, you know, playing the game. No, you can't. So that's an absolutely pointless feature. But I prefer this because with the PlayStation 4, I haven't played it enough to run the battery flat yet. So I don't know if it still has the same problem it had with the PlayStation 3. Because with the PlayStation 3, what would happen was you'd be playing and then the battery would just die, as you do, but the game wouldn't pause. Whereas on the Xbox 360, it would pause the game, and then all you do, you just take the back off, like so, put new batteries in, because, you know, if you've got a charger, you can just charge them up. So you've got a couple charged, playing the game, pauses, swap out the battery, plug it back into place, and it continues. And these batteries on the Xbox 360 last a long time. And the same on the Xbox One, it just lasts a long time. Now, I like the fact that, this is the Xbox One controller. They've put a simple little, what you call micro USB. You know, it's the type of thing that you would have on a mobile phone, tablet, blah, blah, blah. So even if, for instance, for some reason you have no batteries you can use and you don't have any chargeable, at least you can then plug that into the console and just continue playing. So you have that option. Just the same with the PlayStation 4 controller, just like the PlayStation 3, you can charge the battery up. I just wish I wish they would not go with this, batteries inside the controller, because at 45 fucking pounds, man, I should be able to at least replace the batteries, continue the game without having to unscrew the bastard, because eventually all rechargeable batteries die. Because every time you charge the battery up, it has less power than the time before. So, you know, it's charge up, goes flat, charge up, slightly less, and eventually you get nothing from it. And I'm pretty sure Sony will probably offer you a service for a nice fee, but I personally think that the Xbox controller has always been better. Even the Xbox original, a lot of people complain, man, it's so fucking big. Get used to it. I mean, the Dreamcast controller was fucking huge, and the thing I hated about the Dreamcast controller was the D-pad. You know, it's like you tap right, and it kind of veer off at a tangent. So you're sort of trying to balance your thumb, and you're doing all this kind of crap where it's just not. Let me just turn this rubbish off because it's going to bug me. But it's really not doing its job. Yeah, bugger off, you bastard. No one asked you to turn off. But it's really not doing its job. So, in comparison, I mean, I'll give you a few shots because Brett asked me to show you around it. So, I mean, the front kind of looks a bit boring, but you know, it's just a controller. I mean, you know, here's the back. Here it is on its side, and as you can see, the buttons, you know, they're quite responsive. And no Wii U. I mean, this actually makes less noise than this. Here's the Xbox 360 one, and this is fucking brand new. I only bought this about a month ago. See the difference? Same with the PlayStation 4. No Wii U cheap bits in this. Even the, although this is quite new because I only bought this recently. It's DualShock 3. And before that, I had one of those one of those PlayStation 3 Joypads without, you know, the rumble. But no Wii U cheap bits in this. So the controllers are well built. They actually feel quite solid. I mean, you know, PlayStation 3 controller, quite solid. PlayStation 4, really solid. And apparently this here, I have no idea what the fuck it's used for. And he's got a few buttons on here, like for instance, options. That's equivalent to, I suppose, the PlayStation 3 Select. Helps if I. So you've got the Select on here, and on this one you've got options, and it's the same thing, which, you know, was all right. But with the Xbox One controller, I didn't know that this button here. Let's see if I can get it in. No, I can't. Sorry about that. But it's got like a weird 3 lines. And I'm sitting there thinking, how the fuck do I get to settings? And, you know, after pressing every button, I got fed up. So I went and looked online because I'm too lazy to read the manual. Oh, wait a second. It wasn't the manual. That's why. And eventually I found that that is for settings. Now, that's very important because if you have HD TV, and what I've noticed, for some reason, Xbox 360 and Xbox One doesn't set it up properly. So, you know, it's like, oh, 1080p, please. No, 720. What? 1080, motherfucker! So in the end, I had to basically go into the settings and force it to use my TV properly. But, you know, just in case you ever need it, that button there on your right, that is a setting button. And this button here, I have no idea what it's for because I've never used it. A lot of the functions like, you know, gaming game, or, you know, where you can jump out and jump in, I don't really use because once I'm playing a game, and I think, I just think I'll pause and look at sky. You know, satellite. You know, if I want to look at satellite, I've got a bloody satellite box that just flick the fucking channel and then go back. But anyway, now another feature I think is which is important, because the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 comes with only a 500 gig hard drive. The Xbox One allows you to connect an external hard drive onto it. It has to be USB 3, and the way you can tell is that the actual port is blue, a sort of light blue color. Now, what that means is that you can put a 4 terabyte hard drive and it runs faster than the internal hard drive because Microsoft did an update, and whatever they did, it makes it quicker. Now on the PlayStation 4, you can upgrade the internal hard drive, and I've got a 1 terabyte one, only because I couldn't find anything that would fit in the local shop. If I bought it online, I could get a 2 terabyte, and I'm pretty sure you can get 4. And it's actually a lot easier than you think, because you think replacing hardware must be fucking complicated. No, you take the top of the case off. It's not. It's right in front of you. You take a screw off, you pull it out, you take the old hard drive out, put the new one in, screw it into place, plug it in, turn it on, slot the thing back into place, and what you might find is that it doesn't turn on because there's some kind of sensors on the sliding thing. So what I did was I just pushed it and it woke up. and then what you do is you format the hard drive, blah blah blah, and it's all done. So it's not a complicated process. But if you don't want to take the the case off, and if you don't want to muck about with the hard drive, then buy yourself an Xbox One and get yourself 3-4 terabyte hard drive. They're about $100. And the reason why I think it's worth buying an external hard drive, I've got about 100 games on Steam, and bear with me 1 second. I know this is not very professional, but just to give an idea, I bought some games for Steam. So I've got Shadows of Mordor, and luckily it should be the right way because I inverted it. This came on 4 DVDs, and I had to wait for another hour for it to download another 12 gigabytes. This is Wolfenstein The New Order. This is 42 gigabytes installed. And here we got Wolfenstein The Blood, only cost £15, which was quite cheap. This is 38 gigabytes. So between those 3 games, we're talking about 140 gigabytes. So 500 gigs will just won't cut it. And on the Xbox One, for some reason, I don't know why, but before you've even installed a game, you've only got 380 gigabytes, which is ridiculous. And anyway, getting back to the Steam account, I've got somewhere in the region of 700 gigabytes of games installed, and I've got 100. And the majority of them are old and small. So how are you going to install the games that you want without having to delete them? And these things take ages to install. I mean, seriously, this game here, it's on 4 DVDs. It took an hour. I got bored. And by the time I'd installed it, I just didn't want to play it. But the point being, if I have to go through that and then have to delete the thing, I'm going to be pissed. So I would suggest, if you're going to buy an Xbox One, get yourself an external hard drive. Even if it's only a terabyte, it will make a big difference because you won't have to delete as much stuff. But overall, I can't really, I cannot really complain about either of them. They're both good controllers. They're solid feeling. The plastic is solid. It doesn't feel like it's going to break in my hand. The controllers themselves are perfectly fine. And the thing is that Sony and Microsoft have been dealing with analog joysticks for a long time. So you're not really going to notice a great deal of difference. The only major difference, here on the front, you've got the connection for your headset. And personally, I wouldn't advise you spending a lot of money because, seriously, dude, there are some expensive headsets with these machines. But anyway, like I said, buttons, very nice. They're quite responsive. For me, it's nice because I don't have to arch my fingers so much. I mean, we don't really use the D-pad as much. So the Xbox One controller is probably better because you're going to be using analog sticks more. So the Xbox One will probably be better for, especially if you're a shooter fan, because this is nice and all. And it actually feels quite comfortable. Whereas on the PlayStation 3, because of its physical size, you kind of had that weird arcing type of thing, which is fine. But after a while, my thumbs just start to hurt. So if you've got large hands, PlayStation 3 controller, not quite perfect. It's not rubbish. It's just not as good. But the PlayStation 4, they've improved it, so it kind of feels more comfortable. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that review. They're both good. The hardware's exactly the same. That they haven't mucked about with it, which I think is a good thing, because the tendency, if you look at Nintendo, is to completely change the controller. So thank God they didn't decide after like the Nintendo did with the GameCube controller, which was fine. Oh, we're gonna have some fucking wand because people want to wave around like retards. And then they got the iPad wannabe thing, and it's like, yeah, we're going to completely change it again and have this digital display, which is fine, but a majority of games don't need it. And that's something that Sony and Microsoft have learned. They realise if it's not broke, don't fix it. They're both good controllers. The only downside, like I said, is with the PlayStation 4 controller, this stuff will start to wear. And, well, they could have maybe put something a little stronger on it. But apart from that, it's fine. Like I said, with me, I put these on here because these are kind of plastic. These are rubber, but the point being, if these wear out, I can just take them off, put some new ones on, and it just keeps this from wearing less, and it'll last longer. But anyway, I just want to give you my opinion on both the controllers. The consoles are pretty much the same. They literally use the same hardware from AMD. One is just slightly faster. And in the scheme of things, you can test hardware, and you run this software, and it's like, oh my god, PlayStation 4, it's like 50% faster. But in actual games, doesn't make any difference. So anyway, I just want to do that for Brett. They're both good. I would stick with the Xbox One if it's a controller, because at £45, this is bullshit. I don't expect the rubber on the D-pad, I mean the analog sticks, which will be used most, to fall off after 2 months. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.